Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Game Reviews. In this episode, we're going to talk about SIFU. SIFU is a action beat 'em up video game developed and published by French studio Slow Clap for Windows, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. So this is a kind of an action beat 'em up game, kind of similar to those old beat 'em up games that we used to play back in the day, and most recently like Streets of Rage 4. But this definitely puts a lot more into that beat 'em up aspect, I think. So we're gonna go around and see what everybody thought of SIFU. Don't get it confused with seafood. It is SIFU. We're gonna Kung Fu Master. We'll go to the first Kung Fu Master. Patrick, what do you think of SIFU?
I thought we were going to review some seafood here, not play a game, but it's hard. That's all I'd say. It's hard. It's infuriatingly hard. But it's a weird game, right? They call them a beat 'em up, but it has like aspects of roguelike game. You know, there's aspects of this game that you repeat levels and things like that. We'll kind of get more into the actual gameplay and how it operates, but I'm not a roguelike fan, but this game's not this game is, in my opinion, it is roguelike because of the repeat that you can do, but the repeat is only if you screw up, and you die, which you don't want to die. It's really hard, and it's brutally hard to some extent, and I don't know if it needs to be that difficult, but it is what it is, and this is what they put out. There is no level difficulty slide or anything like that. It's like everybody gets thrown into the same arena, and you have to put up with the difficulty that they decide you need to live with, which is pretty freaking hard, if you ask me. How do I put this? It's Kung Fu, but it's Kung Fu and it's hard because there's just too many. They throw a little bit too much at you, and I don't like games that make you memorize combos. And that's what this game does. You have to memorize the combos to be somewhat effective at different types of things, like having to know when you need to do like a up dodge or a down dodge or a parry, when's the right time to do that versus the other things. And it just gets to the point where I'm like, I don't got enough time to sink into this game to memorize their combo system and memorize their move set. But that's what this game is about. And if that's your kind of flavor of a game, this is right up your alley because it is hard. It's Kung Fu. You're not, it is a beat 'em up, but you just can't run in there and just beat 'em up. You are going to get your shit pushed in if you're not careful. You need to be tactical, slow, methodical, and stuff like that. Shane, what do you think, man? What are your initial thoughts?
This is a game that's hard for me to judge because I loved it and it pissed me off all at the same time. I love fighting games. I love martial arts stuff. This game is SIFU is Bruce Lee meets Dark Souls. Except for Bruce Lee is on the special needs end of the martial arts because I suck with her. I created a female character, and before I got to the end of the first boss, she already had grandbabies. Because every time you die, you age a year, 2 years, whatever. So I was in geriatrics. I mean, I brought my depends into the last fight on the first boss. Once I got through it, I went back, restarted because you keep key items that help you get skip certain areas of that fight or that mission. I still suck. But I did get to the first boss at the age 26. So I'm like, all right, I got this. I'm going to do the same thing on the next boss. I get all the way to the next boss. Can't beat the next boss. I do okay all the way up to him. And I get, as Pat says so eloquently, I get my shit pushed in. It's hard. I think it is too hard for no reason. I think this is the kind of game that really does require a difficulty adjuster. Especially once you get your ass handed to you at 77 before you're even halfway through the first mission. I should say like, you know what? Let's give you a pack of depends, send you to the beginning, and let's try over with a slightly less difficult gameplay. but I don't know how to feel about it because I don't understand the aging system. I still haven't figured out why it is one fight I'll die, get my butt kicked, I go up 1 year or 2 years. Another fight I've gone up 6, 7 years. I don't understand how that works. I never did figure that out. Of course,
it's all in how many times you die successively. So if you die multiple times, because as you successively, yeah. So if you die back to back, the counter actually goes up, and it can go up more than 2.
Yes,
I and then as you take people out using the 2-button combo at the end, it actually reduces the number of deaths.
Sometimes,
if you use that, you'll actually see that it reduces the death counter.
Sometimes
only if you use that. That's the only way I found that it reduced the death counter.
See, I thought that was the way too, but it
depends on how far behind you are.
That's true. But I love the game too because it's so smart and the combat works really well. It's just that it's hard. It's just really freaking hard. I love the concepts and everything. My only real issue is once you unlock moves, the moves you unlock feel more like you should be playing a side-scrolling fighter instead of a 3-dimensional fighter. More like Mortal Kombat moves, up, triangle. In a 3D world, that's a little more. It's a little more difficult because when you have guy on your right, guy on your left, guy in front, guy behind you, that's a party for Pat. But the game it gets confused sometimes, so it's hard. It's just a hard game, but I definitely enjoy the game. I really enjoy the game because it's a beautiful game. It's a really good art style. It's just I either suck or it's just really that hard, and I think it really is just that hard. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I like the game. I just find it that for me, the way I put this game is it's a game that I like that I really suck at and I'm no good at. I can't, it is a very hard game. I like the combat. I like the whole setup and the whole kung fu action and the stories, like, that revenge story. And, that's all cool. And that all works well. And I think the graphics look pretty cool and everything's set up really nicely. It's just a really hard game. And, I played a lot of hard games and beaten a lot of hard games, but I mean, this game is just like, I just can't get through it. And I think it is because some of the combo system, right? The combo is not like you unlock a new move and it's like hold triangle or press triangle, or no, your combo counters getting an extension or something like that. It's like, okay, now you can learn a leg sweep. Well, in order to leg sweep, it's like down, up, down, left, right, triangle, start, circle, and you're like, in my head cannot, like, besides pressing triangle and circle to do the combos, my brain cannot fathom trying to do another move on top of what I've already been doing, right? I can't do the up, down, down, or the whatever. Like, it's not as it's not as complex as what I was saying. I was just being sarcastic, but it is like up, triangle or something like that. And after a while, my brain forgets that even exists as a combo. And all I'm doing is just triangle, circle, and trying to stay alive. So, and so I feel like, while I do like this game, I think it's an enjoyable game. For me personally, and for some people it may be this way, and for some people it may not. It may be a breeze, but for me it's just way too difficult. I've made it to the second level, and I can't get past it. I've tried so many times. I played that level I don't know how many times over and over. I even restarted the game from the beginning so I could get to the second level at an earlier age, and I still cannot get past the second level. And so I feel disappointed, not necessarily cheated or anyway, just disappointed that I can't get through it because now I can't experience the rest of the game because I do want to play through the rest of it. I've hit a roadblock that I can't get past, and that sucks, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I initially think about it. You guys want to talk about some of the systems in here? We could talk about the aging system and kind of how all that works.
Well, yeah. So Pat was explaining to me, because I do focus out on some explanations of things. So that's a me thing. But like Pat explained it to me, because I didn't figure it out. It's like, why is it I go up 1 year, 5 years, 7 years? To me, that's a crap part of the system. I mean, if you're dying multiple times in a row, that shouldn't be a punishment. Uh, you shouldn't get rewarded for it, but it shouldn't be a punishment either. So that really, really chapped my ass.
Yeah, and so the way it works is that every time you die successively, that counter goes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you die the first time, it's 1 death. If you die back to back, it's 2 deaths and then 3 deaths. I don't think you can go above 3. I think 3 might be the max. And then what happens every time you die?
I can verify.
Then what happens when you go up
7? I went 7.
No. What happens is when you die again, it goes up 3, and then you die again, it goes up another 3, and so the only way to get it to go down is you have to do that execution move on the special enemies, the ones that have the little weird smoke around them. If you do that on them, that reduces it by 1. Or if you find the shrine, you could pay, instead of getting something else that you would normally get from the shrine, you could pay to reduce your death counter. So you want to watch out for that. And that got to me many times because I got in some tough fights where I died back to back like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, this is garbage, because it revives you right back in the middle of that shitstorm that you were in. You're like, oh, I just died. And you're like, oh, those guys are all still around me. I can't get out of there. And so now I'm dead again. I died many times like that. I mean, the game is difficult. It's not my typical game. I mean, when I finished the first round, the first time I was at age 52, I was like, that's pretty old. Reran again and got into my mid 40s, but that's still not that great when you consider that that's the first level, so it's really difficult to, it's mildly infuriatingly difficult at certain times, especially when you get into a group with just a bunch of what I would consider trash mob guys. You're just going to town and one wrong move, and next thing you know, it screws up your whole rotation and they're just beating you down, kill you. And then guess what? I'm spawning right back up in the middle of 5 guys and they beat me down again, so it's a very rough game, and you need to basically go at it methodically. And as you age, you reach certain milestones, you lose health, but you increase your damage output, but still it's a trade-off, right? You're supposed to be getting better at fighting, but you also are losing vitality because you're getting older. So it's a weird little combo, and you could go up to, it's like age 70 is 75 or something like that. You're done for,
76, I thought it was.
Yeah, 75 is the max you can go. As soon as you hit that 76, I thought you were dead.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair.
You couldn't revive.
Yeah, it seems
again.
like if you get anywhere beyond 75, if you go to 75 and you're revived, and then after that, it's pretty much you die.
Yeah,
you're not
75.
fighting in your 80s. No canes or wheelchair fighting at that point.
No Kung Fu the Legend on him, huh?
No. Yeah,
no,
so
it is age 70. But every time I'm at like 68, I've already died, and it raises me up 70 something. So, yeah, it's age 70 is your limit.
Yeah.
They put you in the home.
Once you get to age 70, you can't go past that. But, so you basically have this talisman that you utilize, and that as you grow in age, the talisman basically brings you back to life. But you lose your age. That's the whole point of the talisman. That's kind of their revive system or continue system in this game. As you go through each, from your 30s, 40s, and so on, getting up in age, the pieces of the talisman break off until you get to the last one. As you fight enemies in the game, you get experience, and you can use that experience to unlock other moves. You can also go to the shrines, like Patrick was saying. There's shrines that are set up that will kind of like checkpoints, and sort of in a way. You can buy things from the shrine. They have special things that are the first set are gated to age, and then the other 2 sets are gated to points. And depending on, I think those are dependent on age as well, right? When those unlock, if I remember correctly.
The first set is rounded to age. The second set, if I remember, is just a scoring
points, but
yeah.
It's a scoring, but I thought you had to be a certain age to unlock those. Well, maybe not.
There
is some age limit. Some of them have. Some have age locked where you have to be so young and so old. And I think it's spanned between both of them, because some of them would be grayed out.
Yeah,
because I've gone to it and some of them are grayed out.
When you do the takedowns, you got one for your 20s and you got one at your 40s where you gain health back when you do the special takedowns. And I didn't catch that at first. I was like, well, I'm going to unlock this one. And I was like, man, that didn't seem to help. And then I realized, oh, shit, you got to be 40 to do that. And I was still, 30. Now, the game is interesting.
Right. And if you unlock these, they're not permanent.
No.
You can make them permanent, but they're not permanent off the get-go.
Yeah.
So you have to spend a lot of points to make your combos and stuff permanent, because most people, I would imagine, are probably going to unlock certain things and then start over, for the most case.
Right, because you have to put like basically five levels worth of experience into that one ability to keep it permanently, and that means when you die, you get to come back with it. Because one of the things I don't know if we made it clear enough is that when you die, you reset back, starts over again, and certain things you get to keep, like the things that you find, you get to keep. So they make like running through a level quicker. You can find shortcuts and keys and things like that, where you don't have to go back through a room. But that also means every bit that you skip of combat, you lose out on that XP. So, you have to methodically think of where you're going to dump your points into, because if you die or you want to give up on a level and restart, you only go in with the skills that you put in 5 times the XP worth skill points in to keep it. If you only put one in there and you died, that's gone. You have to pick it up again. So, there are some things like that are very difficult to do. And there's all kinds of cool things that you need to spec into. And there's all kinds of recommendations out there on what you need to spec into. And I will tell you that the majority of the items that they have you spec into are not the ones that have the combo points, because there are some that have combos. Because it's just too much to remember. Like the opening credit of the game, the opening prologue of the game has you fight 5 of the shadows, and they're teaching you these combos. And like the first level through, I'm like, what was that combo again? And I'm like, screw this. And I'm just, at some point you just be like, screw it. I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to pick up the first pipe I can find. I'm just going to beat the crap out of these guys. Screw this kung fu stuff. I'm swinging the steel pipe at everybody, because I can't remember these dodge things. And then you're like, okay, so I'm primarily dodging and parrying, and I'm not remembering the combo moves. And then, you get to the end boss, and the end boss is just like, I don't care about your dodge and parry. I'm going to show you what happens if you dodge me or parry me, because I'm still going to cut you down. So it's very difficult. I don't know how else to explain that. It is, because I can't make it. I can't beat the second boss. Like I said, the first time I ran through the first level, I was age 52, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I had to go back again just to get in my 40s. And I'm like, I probably need to be in my early 20s through the first level when I finish that to make this worthwhile, to finish out the other 4 guys, the other 4 bad guys.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I went back just to try to beat the first level at a younger age, and I did pretty good. I was like, all right, 26, I can handle this. And nope, ass handed to me all the way through that next mission. And then, I was able to get the one key, shorten it up a little bit, so I have a little more life when I get there. And each boss seems to have 2 phases. The first one did, the second one did. Yeah, you beat them once, you're like, oh, thank God. And then what's it do? It gives you round 2. What the? It's like, come on, I barely got through it the first time. So then you have to fight him a second time, and the first boss, the whole level changes. So it gets a little weird. The second boss, kind of the same thing, except for he goes into asshole rage. So it's even harder. Nick, I can't believe you don't just love this game and you're not like crying right now because you're not playing, because this is a sadistic, masochistic, candle wax on a nipples, barbed wire bat thing you should love. So I'm really surprised you're not all about this.
I do like the game. I do like it. But yeah, it's just too hard for me. I'm just getting my butt kicked left and right, and I can't get through. I have no sense of progression, right? Like I said, I'm at like a roadblock here, and I'm not progressing. Games like, if you think about that, like hard games, you think of like Dark Souls or, games similar to that type of game. Like if I have a roadblock, I can go do something else to power my character up and then come back to that roadblock, right? Whereas this is like, sure, I could restart the game over and maybe permanently unlock another ability, but it takes a long time to permanently unlock your combos. You can go to the start menu and look at the combos you have, so that's not a problem. If you forget them, like Patrick was saying, you can go look at them. But in order to permanently unlock them, like one that may take 500 XP. Well, it takes 500 XP to unlock it, and then 500 times 5 XP to permanently unlock it. And so if you're wanting to do that, which I did with one skill, that was me going through stage 1 and then stage 2, I think twice, to get enough XP to permanently unlock it. That one skill, that one combo, so I could keep it. So if you do decide to restart the game, there is a couple things you do retain. Anything you permanently unlocked, and anything you've discovered. One of the cool things I think about the game is as you go through the levels, you can find lore bits and you can find keys and various things like that open up shortcuts in the levels, so that those things you do retain. So if you go back and start the game over, you can go through like a side door that was locked previously or whatever the case may be. So that's really cool, and I really like that aspect of the game. Overall, and we can finish up here and see what everybody thinks overall. I think for me personally, I definitely like the game. I think it's incredibly hard, but I definitely like it. And would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. I'd say just know what you're getting into. If this sounds like, maybe watch some videos online or whatever, or listen to some more reviews or whatever. If this sounds like something that's up your alley, then go out and check it out, because I think it's a really good game. I think they did a really good job with it. It's just really hard. One thing to keep in mind, though, just to put this out there, Slow Clap had put out some information that they are going to patch the system at some point, or the game at some point. I don't know when this patch is coming, but it sounded like relatively soon, where they are going to add a easy mode and an even more difficult mode to the game, but an easy mode as well. So those of us who have a hard time with it, hopefully this easy mode is easy enough that we could actually get through it, because I would love to play through this and go through all the levels and beat all the bosses and stuff, because I find the game enjoyable. It's just right now it's way too hard. So hopefully that will ease things up. But all in all, I think this is a great game, and I think it's definitely worth your time if you don't have those stumbling blocks like we do. What do you guys think?
I think it's a fantastic game that's just overly difficult for somebody like me. I love the art style. I love the concept. I love the characters. It's got kind of an old school beat 'em up feel, but it's definitely not just a side scrolling beat 'em up. One thing nobody brought up, and just to make sure everybody knows, if you pick this up, the L1 is your friend. L1 is your friend. You press it at the right time when they're attacking, and you will do a parry, and that stumbles them, and then you can do some good attacks. Or you can hold it down and do some dodging moves. I suck on the parries because I have like 0 reflex skills anymore. So the L1 dodge is my friend. That's the only way I've been able to get through the game. And it's not hard to use. So if you do have a problem with parrying like me, just hold her down, click left, right, front, back, and you're pretty good to go. But I enjoy the game. I think you should pick it up if you're into a little bit of punishment and you like fighters. It's not perfect, but it is well worth the I think it was $40 that I paid for it, and I loved it. I just can't wait for the easy mode. So, what about you, Pat?
Yeah, one of the things that we didn't kind of talk about was holding down the L1 will only work for so long until your structure's defeated, and then you're done for. Because L1 is guard if you hold it down, and they just beat your guard down until they knock you down. Basically, you get knocked down. And the same thing happens to them. They call it structure in the game, but once your structure's depleted, it basically knocks you down. You could do the same thing to the enemy, and then that leaves you open for a ground attack.
Yep.
And you can buy spec and points into that where you can counter while you're on the ground, but in the beginning, until you buy that, you're not countering anything.
You can do an attack from the ground, though.
Right. It spins you up. But
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. So, I mean, for me, this game is not on my radar. I think it's cool and it's fun, but it's mildly infuriating to the point to where I didn't do much very well with it, because it got, like I said, I got to the second level, got crap beat out of me, restarted it, got crap beat out of me again, and then was like, well, you know what? I'm done. I'm not a roguelike person, and that's what this then feeds into. I do like beat 'em ups, but I also like beat 'em ups as co-op, like Streets of Rage and stuff like that. So those are always fun. But this game got to the point, if they had the easy mode slider, I'm probably going to have to replay it just because, I mean, I want to, the fighting is fun until you get into a situation where you're just overpowered. And what I mean by that is there's tons of situations where you get in a room with 8 guys and they all have broomsticks or steel pipes. And you're just like, crap, this is going to suck. And you're in there beating the crap out of them, trying to knock a few weapons out of their hands so you can be the one with the weapon. Because with the weapon, you're a force to be reckoned with, because there's some, you can tear some crap up with some weapons.
Steel
beat
pipe
the mess out of
some
them.
busted skulls.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of scenes. There's scenes where it has you side scroll, like when you go down the hallway and you're fighting the guys in the hallway, and you're like, oh yeah, they're done for now. You're just beating them down the hallway with a stick, just whack, 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 and comboing the crap out of them. So I mean, it gets fun points, but it's certain points that it's not fun when the boss just railroads you left and right, and that's just not fun. You just can't figure out the proper way to combo them. And that's because there's too many combos, in my opinion. Like this leg sweep combo, there's the dodge where you can dodge high, dodge low, parry and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's not a game in my repertoire, but it is fun. I would like it to be cheaper, but $40 ain't bad for a game.
No. Yeah, and I agree. It is a fun game. It's just hard. Hopefully that easy mode that they're bringing in will make it, because that's when I'll come back to. Once that patch comes out, because I do want to go through the levels and fight all the other bosses and stuff and enjoy the game. It's just feel like the difficulty is so rampant or so high for me, and for all of us, it seems, that we just can't enjoy it. Even though we like it, we want to enjoy it, right? Yeah. But we can't because it's so hard.
Well, easy mode, they're probably going to start you off at age 2, so that's going to be really weird to fight with. So
you're getting
flinging poo from my diaper.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Please let us know in the comments down below. Have you played SIFU? What do you think of SIFU? Or is this a game that you're thinking about picking up? Let us know what you think about the game. Is it too difficult for you? Is it not? Is it easy for you? I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there, this is an easy mode game, and some people are like that and they can just really pick up on things, and some people it's going to be really difficult. But let us know what you think of this game. Other than that, thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time, and we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.